tension in the neck? Well, I have some hacks that will surely give you some relief. I can confidently conclude that the pressure and tension that we feel in our neck is caused by our forward head posture. We spend a large portion of our time looking down at our phones. Imagine the human head weighs about 8 to 12 pounds. The pulling that is going on in our neck is excessive. When typing on the keyboard, sitting at our desk, our posture is so bad we are not even aware of it. There are tons of equipment and devices out on the market to assist with poor posture, but I will guarantee you that unless we change it in our minds, we're going to continue to repeat the cycle over and over again. I can almost guarantee that the pain or pressure or tension that you feel in your neck is not actually residing in your neck itself. What ends up happening is we get these terrible tension points or knots in our upper back, more specifically our levator scapula. And I just want to say that when your neck is feeling tense and very stiff, let's start stretching those muscles out first. Because of our poor posture, our muscles begin to tighten and shorten. Think of it as like a band. If you start to leverage a little bit of the slack, it becomes less versatile and not as flimsy. If the muscles aren't properly elongated, over time these muscles become very crippled and bunched up, creating these tension points that over time will create inflammation. Soon you realize that it creates a spiral effect, almost as if you start to feel better, then you start to feel worse, and so on and so forth. You continue on with the habits and the poor posture, and over time your muscles get used to the poor treatment and they almost result back to that current state. Even after minor adjustments, it still doesn't seem to fix the problem, and this is where we need to dive into what exactly is the remedy to ridding ourselves of this spiral effect happening all the time. It can take quite some time to get the mind and the body in sync again, so please be very patient and consistent. The first step, and the most challenging for many, is that I'd like you to develop a conscious attitude that every time you begin to start to tip your head forward, downward, and looking at your keyboard or devices, that you remember that you need to pick your head up. This is by far the most challenging, so I wanted to get that one out of the way first, because if you can master the first step, the other steps will come so easy for you. The next step is, at this point you still have tension points. You're not going to get rid of those right away. Your muscles have to be trained, they have to be elongated over time. The next step I'd like you to execute is that at this point, yes, you probably do have tension and you have tension points and knots. So I'd like you to develop a stretching schedule. No working out, no heavy lifting, just put time aside to stretch. You may be astonished at what I'm going to say, but stretching can take hours. It's not something that's done in 5 minutes like we're used to in elementary school and middle school and high school. It takes hours. So be patient and put time aside to adequately stretch. It's almost like doing a workout routine. The best stretching that you can do is use what you have. You don't have to spend a lot of money on equipment. You can use doorways, get your arm up there, stretch those chest muscles. You can also get a tennis ball, put it in a sock, and try to locate those knots in your back and put pressure on them. Because over time, once you start getting that blood flow, it's going to heal and start to decrease some of that tension you feel. Because once we start getting that tension in our neck, we immediately grab at our head and start pulling and pulling, thinking that that might do it. And sometimes it does, but a lot of times it does not, because a lot of the tension we feel is lying within our upper back, giving off that referred pain. And the last and final hack is, I'd like you to ice the area in the back. Put it on your upper back and let it sit there. Make sure it's covered. You don't want to get ice burns, but you can never really over ice. So if you're having that tension, and after you've worked on your posture, you've done your stretching, put a little ice pack on there and let it sit there for about 5 minutes or so, on and off, and you will really start to see that the pain and the tension will subside over time. Nothing is reversed in one night. It didn't take you one night to get where you are now, so it won't take you one night to get back where you were feeling perfect. So be very patient, and I guarantee doing these 3 easy steps, you'll start to see a tremendous level of improvement.